Welcome. Let's get back to looking at CAD tips and tricks. We're going to build the cam rocket in Revit, and Revit is a piece of software that is typically used in the construction industry. Clearly not used when designing rocket parts, but we're going to demonstrate the similarities between the different pieces of software. So let's get started. I have my blank Revit screen up. I'm going to click File. I'm going to hover over New and move down to Project. Click on Project, and in the middle of the screen I'm going to choose an architectural template, and I'm going to click OK. And my screen turns white and I'm ready to start working. I see 4 baseball-shaped home bases. Those are cameras that define east, north, south, and west elevations. I'm not going to need any of those for this project. But I also see over here that I have a level 1 that is bolded and a level 2 that is not bolded. I'm going to click on the south elevation simply to demonstrate what those level 1 and level 2 words mean. Level 1 is at an elevation of 0 feet. Level 2 is at an elevation of 10 feet. So if I want to draw something, I have to be working on some level. 2 default levels that show up in a blank template are level 1 and level 2. So I'm going to choose to draw our cam rocket on level 1. I can move back to the level 1 view by hovering over the word level 1 and double clicking on it. I also am going to hover and then click on the gray bar that encompasses the word Project Browser Project 1. And I'm going to click, drag, bring my menu out, and then bring it back to the left until I see a docking preview, and I'm going to dock that. This is a little bit like the AutoCAD properties. It's important to have these docked side by side or opposite sides of the screen, but not dock them top and bottom, because a lot of my project browser, as a Revit term, and my properties get hidden when I dock them top and bottom. So we're ready to get started. I see that I'm working on a plane called level 1. It's at 0. I don't know what my units are. So I'm going to go up to Manage tab up top, click on Manage tab, and I'm going to look at my project units by clicking on Project Units. I see that my project units are in feet and inches. That works for me. My precision is down to a 32nd of an inch. That works for me. And the angle is at 2 decimal places, and that's okay. So just as an FYI, our part is dimensioned in millimeters, but yet our units here are in feet and inches. So what we're going to do, just because this is construction software, is we're going to assume that our PDF is in inches, and we're going to draw this cam rocket in Revit in inches. So my units are okay, and I'm going to click OK. Where's my origin? I don't have a clue, but I can make it appear. So I'm going to do that. So if I type the letters V followed by G, I get a pop-up dialog box. And over here on the right, I'm going to scroll down until I arrive at Site. And by the way, this list is alphabetical. I'm going to click the plus by Site, and I'm going to check this project base point. And then I'm going to click OK. And I get a nice blue target. That's my origin. I now have units, precision, and origin defined. So if we look down below in both AutoCAD and SolidWorks, we drew our lines and arcs and then we extruded them. Revit's backwards from those two. We have to start an extrude command, and then inside that command we draw our lines and arcs and then finish our, simply like click a green check to finish our extrusion. So let's do that. We get there by going to our Architecture tab up top, which is similar to the AutoCAD Home tab. I'm going to click the down arrow by component, and I'm going to click this Model in Place command. And I get a dialog box. I'm going to scroll down until I find something that's reasonable to call this thing. And I'm going to assume that it is a generic model. And I'm going to click OK. I need to name this generic model, and I'm going to name it CamRocket. So I type that in and click OK. I'm now working on this Model in Place component. And up above, I have a whole new set of tabs and menu ribbons. We are going to create an extrusion. So here is where I start my extrusion command. I haven't drawn anything. I click on extrusion, and now I get a new menu bar. Notice this area up here in the center. It's similar to the sketching area in SolidWorks and not all that different from the AutoCAD line commands. So of course the first command up here that's an option is line. We're going to use that. So I'm going to come down, and notice when I hover over the center, I can snap to the origin. My snap shows up as a purple circle. So I click that purple circle, I move to the left, and I'm going to enter 14, and I put in the inch marks. I need to put in inch marks because if I don't, the assumed units of feet would take over and my line would be 14 feet long. So I'm going to press enter, and notice it's kind of like my line disappeared. All that means is I need to zoom in. I zoom in far enough and I can actually see that line. I'm now going to move up 16 inches, and this is the kind of repetitive part that we've done. I'm going to move to the right 14 inches, and then I'm going to move down. And notice here, Revit is giving me options to snap at given angles, and Revit is toggling through degree by degree. Here I know that I want my angle to be 10 degrees, and it's pretty easy for me to just move my mouse to a certain place on the screen, and 10 degrees is the default. So I'm going to do that and just press enter. And I got a result I wasn't expecting. So back to line, come down here 10 degrees and click the second place. So just as a heads up, notice that when I come back and select that object or any other object, I get some dimensions that show me what the angle is and how long it is. Remember back in AutoCAD, those properties automatically show up here. They also show up right on the screen in Revit. Okay, so I'm going to hit escape, and those dimensions go away, but the properties of that line still exist. So I'm now going to draw the bottom left portion of the part, and I'll use the line command. I'll come snap to the left-hand point, come down 16 inches, and I'll key in 16 inches, click enter. Then I'm going to go again to the right 84 inches, press enter, go up 40 inches, press enter, and go left 29 inches. I need to begin to use the offset command now. Offset is going to look similar to both AutoCAD and SolidWorks, two parallel kind of shapes. Here's my offset command. In Revit, my command options show up in a green row right below the menu bar. My offset distance is in here and the default value is 1 foot. I want 59 inches. So I input that. And notice the text changes to 4 feet 11 inches, which if you did the math would be 59 inches. And in Revit, if I approach the line that I want to use as my offset from the bottom, the line will offset down. If I approach the line from the top, Revit will offset that line up. So that's how I define which way I want to offset an object. So I'm going to come up from the bottom of the line and click that into place and change my default value to 13.3 inches. And I can do that. Notice Revit translates it into fractions. And I'm going to approach that end vertical line from the left. And I'm ready to draw the arc that's going to define the bottom of this part down here. So I'm going to do that with a circle command. I click and I want my radius to be 29 inches that I key in and press enter, and I have that circle. Revit, of course, has an extend command. My mouse is currently hovering over it. And I'm going to click on that extend. And I need to, in a manner similar to AutoCAD, click on a blade, and then I don't need to press enter this time. And I'm going to then click on the line, and the line extends to the circle. So I'm going to extend this first horizontal line all the way over to the right. And notice that I'm still in my extend command. You can look at the cursor and see that the extend command is represented with a little figure right by my cursor. So I click this vertical line and I want to extend my horizontal line, and I click that, and I'm then ready to draw this line that comes all the way down at an angle. I click the line command, a start point, an end point that I know, and then I'm going to hit escape a couple times and use my extend command again. Choose the horizontal line and then the angled line. And I guess I probably didn't need to do that because now I'm going to use this trim to a corner, similar to SolidWorks. So I'm going to click my first line, the angle, and the second line, and I get a corner. So now I'd like to trim away the parts of the circle that I'm not going to use. In Revit, I can't trim this circle until I split it in a manner that's similar to AutoCAD. The split command is up here on my ribbon, and my cursor is hovering over it. I'm going to click on split element, and I'm just going to click on this back section of the circle. And I now have split this full circle into an arc. And now I'm going to use, what am I going to use? How about trim to a corner? I get one good result. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a good result here, but I did. And I got an error message anyway. So all these CAD error messages are always a little bit cryptic, and it says it can't keep elements joined. And I have two lines highlighted in orange. My response is to Revit, I don't care if those two lines become unjoined. I want my outline to be followed. So I'm just going to click on Join Elements. I'm okay. All right. So I guess we're ready to do this arc up above. And remember, in AutoCAD we had some construction geometry to create, and in SolidWorks we just drew the circle and moved it into place. So we're going to need to use the AutoCAD method and create some reverse geometry, and we'll do that in part 2 of this video.